Hey, YouTube and Instagram hit it pretty closely today. Robert J. Conley here. I am talking today about three dangerous words. Three dangerous words. And the basis for this is what I spoke about in my last video, and that is that, okay, got it. Wow, sorry about that technical difficulty. Isn't that fun? All right, so three dangerous words. And this is based on my last video. It comes from my last video in which I talked about confidence and to the bone confidence. I can handle anything. And you only get there by trial, error, examining, studying, learning, engaging in trial, error, studying, learning, engaging in trial. Oh, success, still learning, still studying, still learning, trial. Oh, error again, repeatedly. And it's only by virtue of that repetitious cycle that you can gain to the bone confidence in yourself, that you can handle anything. And it comes after, every person has seismic events in their life, and it comes by continuing through those and marching on. And so I want to share three words that I believe are impediments to continuing to engage in that cycle. And the first word that I want to talk about, because these, like I said, they can be impediments, but if allowed to, they can ruin a person. And it's a choice as to whether or not to keep moving. And so the first up is the word embarrassment. Now, embarrassment is really, it's just confusion or disturbance of the mind. It's this self-consciousness that you're not sure what just happened, or that, whatever. And so, embarrassment should be transitory. It should last for a few minutes in a perfect world. But the real power choice, and believe it or not, this is a choice, and it could take you a long time to get to this point of choosing not to be embarrassed. I just choose to not be embarrassed. I'm a perfectly okay human being, and I'm going to decline to participate in it. And the thing is that embarrassment also doesn't really embarrassment stands on your interpretation of the opinions of others for the most part. And so part of that, the related issue of that is to decide to decide to be indifferent to the opinions of others, and to not participate in those mental gyrations, conversations that potentially will impede you. So the last part of embarrassment is that there is no shortage in this world of people who will come up to you and say, I'm embarrassed for you. Or especially like in certain work environments, boy, is there a load of that kind of talk. This condescending, oh, I'm embarrassed for you that you asked that. Oh, I'm embarrassed for you, whatever. And the only response that deserves is a big smile. And you can either say it out loud or think to yourself, well, good luck with that, because I'm not going to participate. That's your story. And I have made the decision to not participate in embarrassment anymore, because by not participating in embarrassment, I can be a more powerful player in the field that on which I choose to be productive. All right. So the next word, humiliation. And, humiliation isn't just like confusion or disorientation. It digs deeper. It's about being disgraced. It's much more personal. And so, and again, the danger is that fear of humiliation can keep you from participating in the game. Embarrassment, here's it's a simplistic example, but hopefully it's helpful. So embarrassment can keep you from going up to the chalkboard to try to solve the problem. Humiliation can cause you to stop showing up to the classroom, to just completely withdraw. And there is a certain there are certain personality types that are definitely much more prone to embarrassment and to having that be a super painful thing. So, I can't just give you magic words that cause that to be a non-issue in your life. Again, it's part of it is based on the growing and indifference to the opinions of others. And the powerful distinction, though, is whenever there's an event that causes humiliation, is to take the time to say, "This is about this event. This isn't this isn't about my being. This." Because humiliation is where it starts to feel like it's an attack on your being, on your humanity, on your essence. And if you can train yourself to go, no, that was that event, that and to continue to be humiliated is to continue to dwell in the past. And again, dwelling in the past, is not the way to be productive and move forward. And so you go back to that trial and error mode. And so humiliation is something to be embraced and energize you to learn, because humiliation. So you can't learn without risking humiliation. And if you can turn humiliation around and go, wow, I just got some kind of painful information about what it is I need to learn, and reframe it as information that is fairly unpleasant to receive, but that you choose to continue in the process of living, in the living of trial and error, also in the living of not knowing, because you don't know if the next thing's going to work. But it's about choosing not to withdraw and choosing to continue to engage in the game and in that process. So that's humiliation. So we've had embarrassment and humiliation. And the last one is the toughest one, and that's shame. And it's the most dangerous of all. And it's, again, one of these places where, shame just, I mean, if humiliation is a puncture wound, shame is just, it cuts to the bone. Now, this might sound Pollyannish, but I would urge anyone who feels shame to, number one, take that as a sign of your humanity. And this is a little extreme, but it's still illustrative. Sociopaths don't feel shame. So just the essence that you're feeling shame, take solace in the fact that you have a conscience, that you're a conscientious person. And so if you can start from there, you now can start to work through. And so come from a gratitude of, oh, okay, I have a conscience. This hurts like blazes. It's painful, but I have a conscience, and I'm determined to continue to move forward in my lifetime of trial and error, learning, trial and error, learning, trial, success, learning, trial, success, learning, continuous loop of that never ends. And so, the thing that first thing of just like, I'm an intact human being. I should continue to play in this game. And, I'm not making any moral assessment here about what it is that triggered your shame. I mean, there are plenty of absolutely legitimate reasons to be ashamed. And this isn't about making that magically disappear. It's about continuing to be a productive person playing in the game of life and to keep moving forward. So my tips for it are that, number one, with shame, you cannot think your way out of it. You can't logic your way out of it. First of all, it's for the most part, it's not a logical thing. Number one. Number two, we don't have the capacity to think accurately in reference to what triggered it in the first place. And there are people who are victims of certain crimes that feel great shame for that when they had absolutely nothing to do with it. And so, that's one example of shame. And then there's a whole lot of, things for which they should be ashamed of. I mean, like, the blind taxi drivers on the Greek islands, they should be ashamed of the fraud they perpetrated on their society. But, I digress on that. Anyway, So the surest road for shame, and again, I'm not pretending this is a magic wand. I'm just trying to give you some like directional, here's a direction ahead. And that direction is forgiveness. It's forgiveness of yourself and it's forgiveness of others. It is truly the greatest gift you can give yourself on any front, but in the experience of shame, there's no close second as far as effective salve for shame. And so to wrap it up, just to review, so embarrassment, your reaction to embarrassment, embrace it. You put yourself out there. Congratulate yourself. You walked up to the chalkboard to solve the problem. You were wrong, big deal. Be proud that you walked up, that you participated in the game. Humiliation, it's an event. It's not a definition of you. Whatever it is that happened, you hurt, you feel bad. It's an event. It's not you. And then finally, with shame, much easier said than done, but the direction to try to head, forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of whoever it is that participated or perpetrated an injustice against you. So I hope this helps. Keep playing that game of trial and error. Keep playing that game so you get to the point where you go, holy cow, I can pretty much handle anything that life has to hand to me, and I'm going to show up every day ready to kick its ass. I'm Robert J. Conley. I'll see you next time.